Hi, Rachel. What are you doing?
Hey there, Kyle. I was just working on some grading and I decided I would take a brain break with some seated stretches.
Brain breaks are great, but what about brain breaks in the classroom? Do you think they're important enough for a teacher to try to fit in during a busy school day?
Well, teachers do have a lot of curriculum to cover, but let's think about where teachers tend to lose the most time. Usually it's correcting off-task behavior, getting students to focus, and then getting them engaged in their content. A good brain break helps with all three of these things. If you're using the right kind of brain break, you can redirect behavior, get students to pay attention, and then get them more engaged in your content. So learning matters a little bit more to them that day.
Yeah, great. I'm glad you mentioned engagement because a lot of teachers say that they're hesitant to use brain breaks because they feel like it'll have the opposite of engagement, that students will lose focus because they're moving on to a different task that's not associated with the curriculum. So how can teachers prevent that from happening?
So there are a few things that you can do to make sure that they're really effective. And one thing is to structure your brain break. Make sure that students know the expectations for behavior, rehearse, review those procedures, put up an anchor chart if you need to. Another thing you can do is make sure that you're selecting the correct kind of brain break. We know that there are some brain breaks that help energize your students, and then there are some that help calm them down so that they can focus. So if you're looking for one of these brain breaks to help pick up student energy, you might want to do a physical, creative brain break. If you're trying to get them to settle down and focus, maybe consider something semi-stationary. Finally, make sure that students enjoy the brain break. Otherwise, it's just one more activity and it's not going to have that refreshing component that you're hoping it'll have.
Yeah, great. So if teachers are brainstorming and they're wanting to start using brain breaks, what is some advice or good tips that you can give about what makes a good brain break?
Well, most specifically, I would say use a timer and make sure that you abide by the time limit that you set. That way you have time for the rest of your instructional content that day. Another thing that you can do is make sure that you explain to students why you're having a brain break in the first place. Students want to know why, and if they know that a brain break is going to be beneficial, they're more likely to participate and take it seriously. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy too. If you tell students this is going to help you be more engaged, they'll probably be more engaged. If you say it's going to help them focus, they'll probably focus a little bit more. And then finally, make sure to keep your brain breaks simple. After all, this is a brain break, and we don't want students getting wound up about all the details and not knowing what to do. It should be relaxing and rejuvenating so that they can get back to your curriculum ready to learn.
Thank you for that great advice, Rachel.
Well, thank you, Kyle. I'm feeling really rejuvenated after such a great conversation, and I think I'm going to get back to my grading.
While you do that, I may try out some of those stretches that you were doing earlier for my own brain break.
I think that's a great idea.